Good morning, Year 10. Okay, so today is going to be a full lesson for you to take part in. We've come up with a scheme of work called the Game of Life, which is basically based on all things that you should encounter in life and we think that are helpful to you, but in the style of the English GCSE language exam. So the first unit of work that we're going to be focusing on during this homeschooling period will be Unit 3. So if you cast your minds back to yesterday, it was the second exam and it's worth 40% based on persuasion, argumentation and instruction. Okay, so let's get started. So the reason we've done this is because we want to make learning relevant. As English teachers, we're always asked those types of questions. Why am I doing this? Will I ever need this in the future? What's the point? Well, the aim is for you to see how you will use your literacy skills throughout life in order to make it easier for you to navigate. So the skill that we're working on today is what we would call in the exam, low tariff questions, and it's locate and retrieve. So to locate information is to find it, and to retrieve it is essentially to bring it back. In the GCSE exam, you'll be expected to read a text and a range of texts, and you'll be asked to locate specific information. In order to do that, you've got to scan those texts for keywords and then bring the information back, locate and retrieve. The more you read, the easier you will find this task because reading exposes you to new vocabulary, helping you understand a range of texts. Now, most of these texts you won't have seen before. Some might be familiar to you, but others won't. So it's important that we read a range so that we get used to them. In life, you'll need to locate and retrieve information on a daily basis. So you might have to read extracts for college entry requirements to know what you need in order to get into college. You might be identifying ingredients for basic food dishes, or finding a suitable university for you in the future. Or even maybe you might decide to leave school and go straight into work. Well, in order to know what you need to do for that job, you'll need your location and retrieval skills. Okay, so we're focusing on first a range of different options. So it's the college years. Now, college doesn't always mean you'll go to college. It could be that you'll go get a job, maybe an apprenticeship, or it might be that you go to a sixth form or the college. So when you leave Eberval, all those options are open to you. You'll have choices around what subjects to take, what jobs to apply for, what college or sixth form to attend. And we've got a range of these routes for you to explore. Today we're looking particularly at the job route. Okay, so all our extracts, all our information, all the things that we're going to be asking you questions on today will be around jobs that are in our local area. Okay, so we've taken 3 jobs. We've got McDonald, ASDA and Celyn K-Home. Some of you will choose to go straight into work and some of you will work alongside college. It's important to see what a job demands of you in order to be able to apply for it appropriately. Some of you will have to think about finances if you are supporting families or caregivers. And we at Eberval do have a lot of children that are supporting members of their family. You must think about how much you'll earn, whether that job suits you and what options you might have within that job. So some of you might think, well, I won't need to work. Others of you might have to if you want possibly a car when you're 17, if you want to be able to afford your phone contract, or if you just want to be able to go out on the weekends with your friends. There is always going to be a time where you will need money, and some of you will need a job in order to do that. Okay, so this is what location and retrieval is. We've got simple, or what appear to be simple questions, and they're called low tariff because they're normally worth between 1 to 3 marks. Now, it's always worth, if you look at the screen, see the little orangey yellow box in the corner, you'll see to check how many marks it's worth. That'll help you judge how much you need to write. So, for example, question 1, where can you apply for the job, is worth 1 mark. More often than not, that suggests you only need to retrieve 1 piece of information. Okay, so let's go to the text. All of them are labelled in reference to the slides, and you can be able to, I'll send all those across to you, and you can then go through the text to find the answers. So, for example, if we're looking at number 1, where can you apply for the job? Let's have a quick look. Here we have the Eberval part-time job advert. And if you have a quick scan through and it asks you, where do you apply for the job? One of those keywords is apply, and obviously it's here. You can apply on monster.co.uk. And that would be your answer. You can apply for the job monster.co.uk. Okay, so just to make sure that you've got it, we've got what specific responsibilities does the job involve? Now this is worth 2 marks, implying that I probably need 2 pieces of information. So what specific responsibilities does the job involve? Think about what my keywords are here. Specific and responsibilities. I might want to look for those words as I scan through the text to see whether they will direct my answer. So what specific responsibilities does the job involve? So if I have a scan down, and as I hit here, I noticed that key phrase, specific responsibilities. Now, if you remember rightly, it was worth 2 marks, so I'm looking for 2 pieces of information. So some specific responsibilities could be serving customers, working behind the counter on the till, being out in the dining areas, looking after customer needs. Any of those 3, so 2 of those 3, would be worth your 2 marks. If you only gave me 1 of those answers, then you'd be getting 1 mark. I hope that's clear for you. Okay. So you've got another range of questions now from 3, 4 and 5 on this one to work through on your own. And if you could get those written down in your book, you'll be able to mark them yourselves because I'll be able to send you across the answers as well. Okay, and then we've got the ASDA questions. And I'd suggest if you are thinking I'm going through this quite quickly, then make sure that you freeze the screen, press pause, and you can have a quick go back over. And you can always rewind as well. There might be some questions on there that you find quite tricky. You'd have to have previous knowledge to know them, such as question 4. It asks you what phrase uses alliteration. In order to answer that question, you'd need to know what alliteration is. So try to cast your minds back. It's also worth noting that some questions sometimes require basic numeracy skills. So such as question 1, it will ask you working 2 hours. Well, in the text, it might only give you what your salary would be for 1 hour. So it's important that you've got those basic numeracy skills as well. They're always worth knowing because imagine if you need to pay your phone bill with your wages, it's worth knowing little basic numeracy skills because you could figure out then how many hours you'd have to work in a week in order to be able to get that job and pay for your phone bill. For those of you that want to extend yourself, there is a math question at the bottom, so a higher order question. If my phone bill is £60 every week, how many hours do I need to work at ASDA to pay my phone bill? And if you want to give yourself an extra bonus 2 marks for getting that one right, that's fine. Okay, so moving on to our third job, we've got Celyn. There are some questions, such as what is the job ID, that really require very accurate retrieval. It's a series of numbers, and just one number wrong would mean that you would lose that mark. So be very, very careful. Okay, so once you've gone through those questions and answered them, again, feel free to pause the screen so that you can go through them and work through them at your own pace. I want you to consider, having read the job adverts and answered the questions, which job do you think would be the most suitable for you and why? I want you to write a short 50 to 100 words, so about half a page, on why you have chosen that job. Ooh, typo, why you've chosen that job, not jobs. Refer to the advert to support your choice. So for example, if you were looking at McDonald's and it was asking you about customer service and being able to work behind the till, also working with people out in the dining area, you might say, I feel that this job is most suitable for me because I'm quite a sociable person and I enjoy communicating with others in quite a relaxed environment, and I feel that McDonald's could provide that for me because I'd be able to be out in the dining area socialising with customers. If you could do that for a range of reasons as to why you would choose that job, that would be perfect, and you can send that through to us. Remember, if you've got any questions, you send them through to your teachers. So their email addresses are their first initial and their surname followed by @ebovow.co.uk. And at any time during the school hours, we'll be there to answer your questions. So for example, if you're looking for Miss Griffiths, Hers is S. Griffiths, which is spelled GRIFFITHS, at ebervow.co.uk. Miss Hukins, T. Hukins. You've got Miss Gordon, M. Gordon. You've got Mr. Edwards, R. Edwards. Miss Wyburn, J. Wyburn. And Mr. Caswell, J. Caswell. And obviously you've got me as well, H. Webley. And I'm more than happy to answer questions from any of the classes if you've got some for me. Hopefully you followed that quite well. On to the marking. At Ebervow we do something called metacognition. What I want you to do, once I've sent you the answers, and I won't send them you straight away, I'll send them in a couple of hours' time so you've had a chance to look over it. You're going to answer the following questions. Were your answers right? And if they were, that's a simple yes or no. What skills did you use? Think back to the beginning of these slides where I said what skill we were using. And then number 3, if you got it wrong, where did you go wrong? So for what reason didn't you get the right answer? Did you read the question incorrectly? Might it have been you didn't provide enough when you should have given more? So it was a 3-mark question and you only answered 2 things. So be very specific about that with yourself. It'll help you figure out in the future what it is that you need to avoid as a mistake. Number 4, obviously if you don't have anything wrong, you don't have to answer number 3. Number 4, how can you ensure you get the answer right next time? What will you have to do as a person in order to make sure that you don't get that wrong again? Again, if you didn't have anything wrong, you don't need to answer number 4. Number 5, where is your learning? Now, I know your learning is at home, I don't mean that. Where is your learning is in reference to my marks on the right-hand side. If you score between 20 and 24 marks, absolutely excellent, your learning is green. If you score between 13 and 19 marks, your learning is amber. And because I've got a red background, I couldn't quite make it red, so it's in black, but it would be, if you score between 0 and 12 marks, you need improvement. So that's a red for you. So make sure that you're very honest with yourself when you're marking them, and it'll help you indicate what you need to do in the future to get better at this skill. Okay, that's your first lesson done with, guys. Hopefully you've all understood that. But again, like I said, if there are anything that you don't understand, please drop us an email. Okay, bye.